Okay, everybody. First live presentation for Monica and I, Jay Lee. And allow me to share the screen that we are going to be using to do this presentation. Let's see. Let's see how this works. Okay, there you go. All right. Can everybody see this?
Would we be able to see their comments?
I think so. I'm pretty sure that we are able. Okay, there you go. Anthony and Jason are present. Um, Anthony and Jason, if you can just give us a quick holler and let us know what you see on the screen, it will help us a lot as we are figuring this out with you. This is fun. Okay, I'm excited. Hey, Dominic.
Oh, that's so cool.
I know, right? Hey, Jason. Hey, Anthony.
Oh, okay. Hey guys.
Can you guys see the screen share? Let's see. We're figuring this out as we go right now. Right now, seeing infinite screens. Okay, great. So now, what do you see now? Let's see.
So you can see it, right?
Yeah, I think. Okay, I think I figured it out. Okay, okay. There you go. I think I figured it out, guys. There you go. Rock and roll. Ready to go. Monica, take it away.
All right, guys. Hi, everybody. Once again, my name is Monica, and welcome. Thanks for joining us today. And we're gonna go ahead and get started. So, if you've read the post already, as it entails, our comfort zone acts like Trojan horses in our lives. So, it's been sabotaging us from reaching our goals, and it's been making sure we are stuck where we are exactly. So, we're going to go ahead, Jay and I, share our personal stories so that you can see how you can benefit from this. Okay? So I'll go ahead and share my story first. When I first met Jay, I was an artist who was addicted to negative emotions. And I remember telling Jay that, hey, it's completely fine to think in negative ways. I'm just different from you. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and I thought, and you're like arguing with me to prove me that you're so cool for thinking like that.
It is true though. I was absolutely convinced that negativity will fuel me to make myself and my artwork to be interesting. But the problem is, when you carry negative energy like that, you attract negative things and events into your life, which I obviously did not want. And not only that, it was impacting my self-image, my behavioral patterns, and also my health because I was having the energy level of non-existent. I was so tense because I was under stress that I had severe indigestion issues and more. So after starting this methodology we're going to go over with you guys in a bit, I was able to break free from that and realize all I wanted my purpose to be in life is to simply amplify the positivity and share it so that we can truly discover our true potential, operate from that positive energy. So right now, I can tell you for sure that I'm living with fulfillment and in alignment with my purpose, and I'm very happy right now. So that's my story. Jay, why don't you go ahead and share yours as well?
Well, Monica, thank you so much for sharing so vividly about you and where you're at. And just like she asked me to do, my part of the story is that my comfort zone has become my job and my income. I come from a healthcare background as a pharmacist, and like it or not, I had become accustomed to that job, even though very early on in my career, I had become very disillusioned about my field and the industry. I realized that drugs weren't helping people that much anymore, even though there are drugs that are definitely necessary. A lot of the drugs are just being sold to perpetuate people getting sick and make up more drugs to make up for the current problems that the current drugs are causing. And that didn't make sense to me. And through the personal development, I had come to realize that my mission statement in life was to lead and inspire others to be truly unlimited. Tell you the truth, I had no idea what that meant to me at the time. It was many years ago, and I struggled with that idea, coupled to the fact that my job was keeping me comfortable, and I was not willing to break out of it. Fast forward about 10 years of suffering, I said enough is enough. And thanks to the methodology like Monica just shared right now that we're gonna start to open up for you in this webinar, I was able to finally quit my job last year, and I am on path to live out the life of my dreams. So Monica, anything else you'd like to add as we proceed?
Yeah, so I just want to tie our stories nicely together for a moment. What our story have in common, as you can see, is we were operating from comfort zone, which obviously kept us comfortable, but it was dragging us away from striving for more. It was like this unseen force pulling us down. And comfort zone is established through repetitive thoughts and behaviors that becomes eventually automated. It's like a software within us. So for example, I'm sure Jay has a good example as well, but have you ever tried to get to a destination but automatically took the wrong turn to get there because your body's so used to taking one route? Have you had an experience, Jay?
Yeah, I mean, it happens to me a lot because I used to take one route to commute to work, and I had gotten so accustomed to go that way that one day I was actually meaning to go to the airport, and instead of taking the exit to the airport, I just kept on going like I usually go to work. So totally automatic. And just to add on to that, I wanted to share like my amazement about like women's ability to apply makeup in a shaking subway cart or in a moving car or something like that. I remember when I used to like drive to work, and sometimes I would just look sideways, and I would see women driving and applying makeup as they're driving, and I'm like, how do you do that? Like, what that how adept do you have to be? But what that proved to me, I know, right? But the thing is that what that proved to me is that automated behaviors, once they get established, our brains start to accumulate those automations, and they make them as effortless as possible, because the brain is, I learned, that is designed to be lazy. It looks to cut down as much effort as possible and make things as automatic and easy for you. In that process, what has happened throughout the years is that we have gathered a lot of habits, some of them that serve us, but most of them that do not serve us. And that's where the comfort zone comes in. And that is why when you accumulate a lot of these habits that don't really serve you in you stepping out and growing and developing and reaching for your dreams, that's when this comfort zone becomes a Trojan horse that's going to sabotage you and your life in living exactly the life that you dream of. So to go into a little bit more depth about that, I wanted to share with you guys very briefly what a paradigm is, which is basically a Trojan horse. You can think of, when you think Trojan horse, you're going to think of a paradigm, which is an accumulation of all those habits that don't really serve you. Now, how do we know which ones are the ones that do not serve you? And how do we, once we see that and we accept it, because we didn't do anything wrong, we just did what we knew how to do. How can we actually switch over to the other side? So very quickly, we learned this from one of our mentors, Bob Proctor, who's the mentor of mentors. And he talks about ignorance and knowledge. And it's not the ignorance and knowledge that we have been taught about in school and in life so far. Ignorance is just the fact that you're just not aware of what's going through you and what's going in your mind right now. Not that you don't know something, it's just something that you haven't been made aware of. And when you operate in that frequency, you start to accumulate a lot of worry, doubt, and fear and anxiety, because you're not aware. And when you're not aware, it's just like trying to find the light switch in a dark room, and you don't know where you are, and you stumble and fumble all over the place. And as you do that, you start to get more anxious, and enough of that, and enough stumbling and tumbling, you start to go through like depression, what you might want to call it, right? And what that causes is it causes disintegration. And what this means, actually, disintegration is in a universe where change is the only thing that's constant. There is nothing else that's constant in the universe, but the only thing is that it's constantly changing, right? And if you're not changing and you're remaining stuck in one place because of lack of awareness, you're disintegrating, right? Because you're getting stuck in reverse. Now, once you see this through the use of this methodology that we're showing you right here, the stickman figure, which we're gonna learn more in depth when you book a clarity call with us, that we're offering for a complimentary service for today only. Once you see this, you're gonna be able to see, okay, so now that I wasn't aware of this and I'm starting to get aware, what is it that I can put in place to take me over to the side of knowledge where now I'm aware, and I know I can start to understand myself and who I am, who I truly am better, and back that with a very, very well-centered, well-established, self-generated faith that's going to allow you to be more fully expressed. And when you fully express, it causes acceleration, because the more you express out of you, the more momentum you create. And that's how you go to creation. That's how you create the life that you want. Is there anything that you would like to add to this, Monica?
I just wanted to quickly add that when you finally have a paradigm that supports your goals and dreams, it's awesome because you don't have to have an uphill battle constantly. And that's where you can see where your paradigm is at, is if you have to work so hard, even though you want it so badly, but you have to work so hard to try to even achieve it, then that means your inner software paradigm is not supporting it. And that's crucial. That's how the invisible force holds us back.
And just now that you mentioned that, and it just popped in my head, you were sharing me the other day that you came up with a $4,000 line of credit that, like, it just.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to share a little bit more about that to give more context into what we're talking about here.
Right. So that's another thing is I was looking for resources, and I was Googling and applying for loans that I could get my hands on. And I could not explain why I was getting denied every time. Didn't make sense. I was getting quite desperate too. Eventually, I gave up. Okay, I guess this is not working out. I'll figure something else. And one day, I stopped trying so hard, straining myself, and I attracted 5,500. It's 4,000, and then I also attracted another 1,500.
Whoa.
Right.
Okay, so it didn't end at the 4,000. You attracted another 1,500.
Right.
That you weren't aware of before. And this is exactly what I actually wanted to integrate. And thank you so much for sharing that and saying what you said, because that reminded me, is that she was straining and she was like worrying and doubting that she was going to come up with the resources that she needed. And once and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you also, and when you were sharing that story, when it was fresh in you, when you just first came up with that and you were excited, you're like, it's because instead of simply trying so hard and being so worried and so negative about me not getting it, I simply relaxed and I allowed, and I was nonchalant, and I was in a much better frequency, for lack of a better term, and you were just feeling good at that moment. And that's how you said, I was very relaxed when I applied for this, and I wasn't thinking about like, oh, I must get it. It was just like, hey, I'm gonna apply, and coming from a very good place, and that actually generated the $4,000.
Right, I was very nonchalant about it, and it was as if the opportunity just kind of flowed through me.
Ooh, flow through me. Yeah. And that's another great way to put it, like, because when you go from not being aware to being aware, So guys, this is like this. When I was just talking about the example of the electric switch. If you're in a dark room and you're stumbling and fumbling to turn on the light, right? This is the thing. You don't really know how. I don't know. Maybe some of you are really smart and you know a lot about like engineering and electricity to know how everything works and the whole machinery of the electricity in this world works so that when you flip a switch, the light comes on, energy flows, and bam, instantly something comes to you, right? And I think what you just shared just ties in perfectly to this because you weren't aware, something lacked in your awareness that kept you at disintegration, so you weren't able to create. But at one point, bam, you found the switch, flipped over, energy flowed with the right awareness, and next thing you know, $5,500 in your hands.
Precisely. That's right.
That is amazing. That's crazy. So this is a very high overview. It's like very, very, very like eagle's view overview of the methodology that we're talking about. We gave you arguably one of the most important core concepts here, and of course, the time that we have allotted for this doesn't allow for the full overview. And there's a step-by-step process that takes you through this journey. And if you book the complimentary clarity call with us, what we're gonna do is first we're gonna see where you're at, and then we're gonna see what is it that you really want. And based on those two things, we're gonna be able to chart out a step-by-step and show you how the methodology works 100% of the times, as long as you're committed to getting what you want and doing whatever it takes to do so. Monica, are there any other interesting stories that you would like to share? Because you share a lot more about how this worked out for you so far. Because I know that not just for me, but for a lot of people, great money is great, but the definition of success for a lot of people is different.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I think you also shared with me other instances where you felt like shifts that you were having.
Shift I was having.
Especially when we were like working out and things like that. I remember. I don't know if you remember, but like you were doing like the plank challenges consistently,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, that's definitely a shift for me because I was never this consistent at anything.
Oh, right. Okay. I had so many changes lately, I couldn't pinpoint which one, but right. So I had this tendency to procrastinate. That was my specialty for a long time. And even though I knew better, it's not because I didn't know better, not because I didn't know what to do, but I knew it in my head, but I just couldn't execute it. Like, again, something is pulling me back to procrastinate. And right, when I had that shift within myself, I saw myself beyond what I knew, beyond my self-image, which was someone consistent, someone who is, what's the word? Consistent, hardworking, and yeah, beyond the image that I had. But yeah, right now, I don't have certain stories coming up to me right now, but I can share more when I hop on a call with you guys. Because I have so many stories, I'll have to straighten that out.
And I love that because the amazing shift that I've seen from you over the past year and a half or so. I mean, I just can't see how much you're gonna be able to relate to all of us, because at some point in time, I'm sure that all of you agree that we've all fallen for procrastination. We've all fallen in that rut of like knowing that we have to do something but not doing it, and then rushing it and not achieving the best results that we know that we can achieve. We've also fallen prey, like I said, like we mentioned in the post, of knowing that we have a gift inside of, we have something that we want to share with the world, yet we keep playing small because throughout life, school, tradition, culture, society, friends, well-meaning friends and family, out of their love, for some reason, they have tried their best to keep us safe. And by doing that, they have kept us from really um, expressing ourselves. So in lieu of them, of their well-meaning behavior to keep us safe, instead of supporting us while giving us safety net, while giving us a safety net where we can fall back on to regroup ourselves and go after what we really want, they have created a shell that has actually hardened to the fact that we don't even know. It's like Truman Show, like that Jim Carrey movie where he lived his whole life in a TV studio, and at the end he's finally able to figure out how things were odd, and he figures out that he was in a studio, and he makes his way out and he escapes the studio, right? So that basically is gonna like equate the journey that we're gonna be going through as you guys travel with us and take this journey where you're gonna go from dark, right, no light, to seeing. Not This is the great thing, is that you don't have to understand the whole thing here in the nugget. You're gonna feel it, and just as challenging it can be to put it out in words, once you feel it, you know it. It's like when you learn how to ride the bike. I don't know how many of you can actually express in words what it feels like when you start to pedal that bicycle and like you just shooting forward and you have the wind in your face and it feels great, right? But how many of you can actually really put into words what that feels like? But the thing is that once you learn how to get on that bike and pedal and shooting forward, you just know it with your whole being, with every fiber. And just like that, you will know when you're having these shifts from not aware to aware, from going in that dark room, and then you flip the switch and boom, and then you see the light and you start things start coming to you. You're gonna feel it, and you're gonna know if, with every fiber of your being, that you are finally aligned with who you want to be, what you've been wanting to do, and what are the actions that are spring forth. And the biggest difference, I think, Monica, I think you can agree with me that hold on one second. Mom always thinks you're the baby. Yeah, moms always do. Let me just catch up with the comments for 1 second, then we'll wrap it up. And then Daniela says, I think many of us can relate to procrastination. I was used to procrastinate a lot. Now much less, but still sometimes I do. Guilty as charged. And the core reason why I procrastinate is fear. Yeah, there you go. Oh my God. She just said it. I fear success, judgment, and failure. And it's a work in progress and a constant reminder everything is inside of me and I can do it. Thank you so much for sharing that. Mi ragazza bella, bella, moltissimo bella. Molto grazie. And
if I may add a little bit to that, by going through this methodology, one thing I got clear on is I got to understand why I was doing things that I didn't want to do, why I was the way I was, and it got me to the place where I could embrace it. Instead of hating myself for it and get frustrated, I was able to embrace myself in the past, and it is, I can't tell you what it feels like to no longer having to fight yourself to get like the most basic tasks done in order to get to the level you want to be.
Wow. You know, I just got chills from that last part that you said. When you don't have to fight yourself anymore and you can embrace that part of you as well and simply choose to do things different. And thank you for saying that, because that was tying into how we are going to wrap this up, is that once you go through those things and you have that new feeling that we're talking about in every fiber of your being, the actions that you take are not forced. You don't have to like she said, you don't have to fight yourself to do something. Actions are just gonna come out of you in a very inspired way, with a lot of enthusiasm, with a lot of power and conviction behind them. And when you have all the enthusiasm, conviction, and power behind it, your actions are that much more effective. One of the main concepts that our mentor, Bob Proctor, and our success coach, Mark Spitzer, share are that when you do things in a certain way, and I've wondered for years what a certain way is. And a certain way is just that. Be certain in the way you do things. And when you have certainty, you have conviction, you have power, you have enthusiasm. And that's from the book As a Man The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, by the way. So you guys can check that book as well. You're gonna get amazing insights from that book, and you're gonna be able to really have your brain rattled. And once you get familiar with that information and you couple it with this information and you reach out to us and you find that clarity call, you will see how much more you're gonna be able to expand who you are, who you truly are, and express that and be that much more powerful in creating the life that you want. And like we said in the post, now you're going to be able to see the Trojan horse clearly in the day of light, and you're going to be able to shun it away before it does damage in the least expected times in the dark of night. So without further ado, guys, that brings our presentation to an end for today. We sincerely hope that you gain more clarity as to why you do certain things and why you don't do certain things. What is it that's hiding inside of you that's sabotaging you and you haven't known so far? And how, by going through the methodology that we're presenting to you, you're going to be able to see step by step, every step of the way, and come to a place where, like Monica said, come to embrace your quote unquote not so great parts, but still accept them as you. And they're perfect, and they're still perfect because it all makes you who you are, right, Monica? I think that's what you were aiming at. And it's just all perfect, and you just embrace it. And once you embrace it, you're gonna be able to move forward with a lot more power and freedom to live the life that you really dream of. If you have any more questions, guys, you can go ahead and exotic. Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh, Hananel, what happened? I thought you were in here the whole time. Because Hananel asked me to join, and I thought that I got him in on time, but I guess we had a slight miscommunication. Listen, Hananel, I'm gonna post a replay here, so stick around, and as soon as the replay is up, you can catch up and see how much more value you get out of what we shared today. Without further ado, guys, we'll wrap it up here. Make sure you book a call with Monica and I when we finish this. Monica and I, we're gonna be posting our book call booking links. So if you want more clarity with either Monica or me, you guys have the freedom to choose. Go ahead and book a call with us and let us know what you want help with and how we can be of benefit to you so that you can move forward in life exactly the way you want to move forward. Any last thoughts, Monica?
Nope, you wrapped it up. Sweet, right there.
Okay, awesome. All right, so once again, thank you everybody for being with us. We severely, and sincerely, and deeply, and respectfully love the fact that you invested valuable time out of your day to invest in us and in yourself to live the life that you really want and deserve and love. And with that, this was your boy Jay. I'll see you next time, and
see you later, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for being with us.